Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second video in our series. And in this video, I will be showing you how to post your customer listing and balances from Appendix 2. On screen, I have downloaded and I'm now showing you what the appendix looks like. Now, let us spend a few minutes looking at this. You'll notice that certain information has been captured on the this appendix. And before I do that, let me just change the date here, which means I'm going to have to change the dates for the file that is on Moodle. Since we are using 2021 as the financial year for the project, it means therefore that the dates must all reflect the previous year, which is 2020. So I'm going to have to make that change. So let me just quickly do that now. Now this appendix has the basic information that you will need about your customers. You will note that there are several columns of information, and I am going to go through each one by one. There is also a document or a particular legend, L-E-G-E-N-D, at the end of the worksheet, and this is a legend. Now I told you that, and in the project instructions, it tells you that you have three types of customers: wholesale customers, retail customers, and educational. And in this legend, it indicates by a code 1, 2, or 3 what the nature of your customers are. So this last set that I'm modifying, notice Innovative Systems Limited has a customer code, customer type 1. Infobiz also customer type 1, which means that these two are wholesale customers. Then we have customer type 3. And you only have two customers that reflect that: University of the West Indies, Mona, and University of Technology. So it is important to note that you do have different types of customers. And why this is important is that each customer has a different pricing structure, meaning that you're going to be selling them at different prices. So notice here, prices are assigned based on customer type. Now this note 2, I really should delete it, because all customers are now charged GCT, including institutional, educational institutions. So this note, based on a policy change at the tax office, this is no longer valid. So all customers are charged GCT. Now what happens when the payment is to be made is a different matter. So now that I have changed the dates to 2020, we can begin. Now let's discuss each of the different columns. We have the customer ID. Now notice how it is coded. We're using a mnemonic code, M-N-E-M-O-N-I-C, a mnemonic code. Now the mnemonic code uses the first letter of their names. So AIS, A for advanced, I for integrated, S for system. BML, Business Management Limited. So all of your customers use a 3-letter code coming from the name of the business as the customer ID. Then we have the name of the business in the column Computer Dealers. And each customer has 2 addresses: the one where we will send the invoices to, after a transaction is made, and this is the bill address. We also have a second address called a shipping address. Now, why the two? Some organizations have different locations that they operate from. For example, accounting information systems. Their main office could be 7 Oxford Terrace, but where they sell the goods to, because AIS is a wholesaler, they will buy from you in bulk and sell back to their customers. So probably their sales office is at 12 Oxford Terrace. So when the bill is to be paid, or the invoice to AIS is to be paid, it is sent to the billing address. But when the goods are to be delivered, the same goods that they purchased from you, it will go to their sales office or retail office at 12 Oxford Road. You'll know that some businesses have the same bill address as shipping address. For example, BML and Claire's Computer Industries Limited. Now going across, we have 3 other pieces of information. The accounts, the outstanding invoice number. So remember now we're doing 2021 financial year. So these outstanding invoices, I have dated them for the previous year. So for Advanced Integrated Systems, they have one unpaid invoice for $34,563. The invoice number is 1235, and it was issued on the 24th of November. And the last column is the contact. Now, from real life experiences, when you call an organization, it is extremely hard to get information from them unless you have somebody inside the organization who you can speak to on a regular basis and you have a kind of relationship with them. And so Paula is a contact at Advanced Integrated Systems. So this is the information you're going to capture. Now, there are 3 types of customers on this. The customer who owes only one invoice, such as Advanced Integrated Systems, who owes one invoice valued at $34,563, or BML, who also owes one invoice, invoice number 1123, and it was issued on the 23rd of November 2020. Now we have 3 customers who have no money owing. Claire's, CompuMart, and CompuMaster. None of these retail customers owe money. But then you have Computer Express Limited, who owes 2 invoices, 1298 and 1334. And I think UE is also like that. They owe 2 invoices, invoice 567 and 865. Now, the important thing to note is this figure in bold, 4,092,336. This is the total amount that is owed by the organization, by all the organizations. So the total amount on the road to be collected is 4,092,336. So now we're on the home screen or the home page of Sage. Notice that we're on the Customer and Sales tab. Now we're not going to be using the Vendor and Purchases tab. We're not going to be using the Inventory and Services tab. We're going to be using the Customer and Sales tab. Now there are a series of icons in the center panel, and you'll notice that some of these icons are connected by arrows. These icons, when you click on them, bring you to windows where you can record your transactions. So if you have quotes and proposals to create to send to your client or your customer, you click here to go to the window to do so. If you're doing a sales order or an invoice or you're getting money from your customer, then you click the respective windows. Okay? So this tells me that the order in which businesses are transacted for customers is that you give them a quote. Then they will, once they agree with the quote you send, they will send in a purchase order. And from that purchase order, you generate a sales order for internal purposes. That sales order, when the goods are selected or picked, packaged, and delivered, you send the goods along with a sales invoice. Now, if the payment is received late from the customer, then you click on this to access the window to bill in the finance charge due to late payment of fees. And when they eventually pay the sums, then you click receive money. Finally, the money is deposited into the bank account. So all of these icons allows you to access windows that are relevant to customer-related transactions. Now, if you're going to be adding customers, which is what you're going to be doing today, then this is the window you use. Later on, when we're adding GCT to our database, we're going to be using the sales tax icon to access the window. But for this morning, this is what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to click here, one click, and then we have a drop-down list. And the options are, do you want to create a new customer? Do you want to look at customers that you have already created and make changes? Do you want to write a letter to the customer? Do you want to set up defaults, meaning conditions for the customers that are consistent across? And one of the things, if you remember the project instructions, it did say that there's a credit limit of $250,000 that all the customers have. So once we have created all our customers, we're going to come here and set up that default. Because as it is right now, I think the credit limit is $2,500 and we want it to be $250,000. So the option we're going to choose right now is new customer. So let me tell you how we got there. We clicked once on the customer and sales task, and then we click new customer. I'm going to take off this side note. Please read it before you delete it, but I think you should. It's important to read it. And I'm going to maximize the window by clicking this box. Again, note shared features with these windows. There's a title for the window, which is maintain customer / prospect. Who's a prospect? Is just a person who you are trying to encourage to do business with you. They have not yet committed by sending you a purchase order to actually do a transaction, but you're courting them. You're sending them flyers, telling them what you offer, those kinds of things. These are prospects. Now, the customers are the ones who you have done business with. So you have customers and you have prospects. Now, notice again, there is a menu bar, File, Edit, Go to, Window, Help. And notice also there's an icon bar. So once we're finished entering our customer, we're going to click Save and Close. Now, we also have the option for Save and New, which is where you're doing a series of customers, and once you've completed one, you don't really want to leave the window. So when you click Save and New, it saves the data that you have entered, wipes the screen clean, and then you can do the next customer. So I am going to show you here now that the customer ID, if you remember our first customer was AIS, I just type in their name and click Tab. Then I'm going to put in, AIS is Advanced Integrated Systems. Limited. Now, once I have done that and tapped, I have the option of putting more information on the General tab, which is what you're seeing now, or on the Contacts tab, or on the History tab, or on the Sales Info tab, or on the Payments and Credits tab. So we are going to be on the General tab. Now, in the General tab, there is an account number. I did not provide you with that information, but the account number would have been your account number that AIS has for you, that Advanced Integrated Systems has for you. So when you contact their person there, Paula, you can say to her, Paula, my account number is X, and she can go on her system and find you. Then there's a space for the billing address. There's space to indicate whether the person is eligible for sales tax. In Jamaica, our sales tax is called GCT. Then we can put in our customer type here. Remember, we have 3 customer types, 1, 2, and 3. So because this is the first time that we are entering custom type, I will just enter the number 1 here. Okay. Now the only thing that I'm going to do now, I'm going to pause here and go back and take a picture of the information from the Appendix 2. So give me a second, let me go there. So here I am back on the Appendix 2, and I'm going to quickly take a picture so that I can take that information and record it so you can see what needs to be done. So I'm only going to be doing 3 customers because it won't take that long a video. All right, so I'm picking up the billing address. It was 7 Oxford Terrace. Now, one of the things you will note when putting addresses in computer systems is that you don't chop the whole address on one line. You have several address lines. So I'm going to put the 7 Oxford Terrace in this line. And I'm going to put Kingston 5 in the row below. So you don't clutter up all of your address information on one line. I have not given you a telephone number, neither email or website, but notice that you have spaces to add this. So what I'm going to do now is copy to ship address 1. I'm going to click this button. This button is going to bring me to the shipping address tab. Now, why am I clicking this? Because the addresses are very similar. The bill address and the ship address are the same except for the 7 and the 12. So having clicked on this, I am going to go to Contacts. And notice that the address here, the shipping address, has been transferred. But I don't want 7, I want 12. So I'm going to edit it. Now this screen shows you that you can have up to 20 different shipping addresses. But I'm only changing the first one. So I'm going to click on it and delete the 7 and type 12. Now notice that the billing address is in a line by itself. We don't want to change that. But the shipping address now has changed from 7 to 12. I click OK. Now the last thing I'm going to do is to go to the Sales Info tab. To the History tab. Now this is where I'm going to put in how much money is owed. So I go to the bottom and click on the Customer Beginning Balances. And it is asking me if I want to save what I did before. You have modified the current record and have not saved it. Do you want to save this record first? And we say yes. Now this is the back room for the receivables for AIS, and the invoice number was 1235. Now for the date, remember I said we're not going to type the date in. So I'm going to right click on the mouse. Sorry. I'm going to click the mouse, right click it, click on the mouse first, left click on the mouse, and then right click to get the date. And we want 24th November 2020. So I'm going to click on this to change a year. Click on the second set of arrows. Let's go the other way, maybe shorter. Click on the second set of arrows to find the month. And we want the 24th, which is a Sunday. I don't want 2019. Let's change this to 20. It's easier. No, I didn't give you a purchase order number, but I definitely gave you an amount. It was $34,563. So just to quickly recap, we put in the invoice number, which I've given you, the invoice date, which I've given you, and the amount, which I have given you. Notice that I did not type in 34,563. When you're entering numbers, don't put any commas. All right. You can put in cents if they're there. So I'm going to click Save and Close. Now I'm going to click back on the General tab. And I'm going to click on the Contacts tab because I did not put in Paula's name. So in the first name, I'm going to put Paula. We're not using any titles, and I don't have a last name for her. All right. So this is all that you're going to have to post. So I'm going to go to Save and New. And notice that everything about AIS has gone, and the screen is now clean. Now the second one that I'm going to enter is BML Business Management Limited. We're going to go to the General tab. Oh, since we're here, I'm going to put in the contact's name. His name is Paul. Now, I'm going to get the shipping address in, but not on this one. I'm going to go over to the General tab. Let's put in the billing address. It is 39D Halfway Tree Road, Kingston 5. 39D Halfway Tree Road. Have to go down to the next line, Kingston. I would click the mouse, Kingston 5. Now for BML, the customer type is 1. So because I have 1 already entered, I can click on the drop down arrow and select the 1. Now the last thing I want to do before I go to put in the amount is to copy to ship address 1. And in this case, we have no editing to do because both the shipping address, let's see, click on edit addresses. Both the shipping address and the billing address are the same, so we don't have to modify anything. The last thing is to go to the history tab to put in the amount owed. Again, the system is asking you if you want to make your save before you move on. Yes. And now we can go and put in the invoice number. So let me quickly do that. And it is 1123. Then you go to the date, we left click, and then we right click. We're looking for the 23rd of November 2020. 23rd of November. 23rd of November. Let's change this. Delete. Left click, right click. Let's do this again. November 23rd. No purchase order number given, but there's an amount. And the amount is $120,000. So notice I didn't put any commas. Save and close. So now we have successfully put in BML, Let's put in one of those that has two balances. Did I capture it? No. Okay. Now, rather than going in to do another one, I'm just going to show you something. When we went to the History tab, we clicked on the customer beginning balances, and we only filled in one row of information. But remember, there are some customers who owe two amounts. So it means that you're going to have to go to the second line and put in the information just as you did in the line above, and that would complete your transaction. Okay, so I'm closing this. Right, so once we have done that, you would have finished BML. So let's go back to the General tab. Now, once you have entered everyone, how are you going to check that you have correctly entered your information? Well, I can click on the word list, and it will show me all of the data that I have entered, but it is not going to add the information for you. Remember, on Appendix 1, there was a total of $4 million and odd as what is owed to you by your customers. So to check your total, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to Reports. You're going to go to I don't want to use age receivables. Let me see. Let's go to Customer Ledger. So you're going to go on Reports and Customer Ledger. Now, why are you doing this? After you have entered all of your customers, you're going to come here to check if you have entered them correctly. Let's click on Customer Ledger. Now, notice that it has shown me BML only. So apparently, this is not where I'm to go either, but it does show the information that you posted. I don't want that. So I'm going to close this window. I don't want the maintain customer window, because when I clicked on reports a while ago, it only gave me information specific to BML. No, I want everything. So what I'm going to do is go to Reports and Forms on the menu bar, go to Accounts Receivable, because we're dealing with customers. And over here are all of the possible reports that say things you will need that relates to your customers. So I'm going to click Customer Ledger again, double click. Now it has shown me the two customers that I've entered so far, but most importantly, it gives me a total. So when you have entered everything, please come to this section to check that your total is reflecting the same total as found on Appendix 2, which is your customer listing and outstanding balances. Okay, let me show you again how we got here. We went to Reports and Forms on the main menu bar of the home page. We went to Accounts Receivable. Then we went to Customer Ledger and clicked twice, and then it opens. And this is how you're going to go and check that you have entered your information correctly. Okay, this is the end of this video. The next video, I'm going to show you how to enter your vendors, and we're going to have to go to the Vendors and Purchases tab and select this information. Okay, we're going to select this information. I just got a message that we have not backed up our information. So to back up our data, because we now have transactions going in, we go to File, Backup, and I want to include the name of my company in the backup file name, and I click Backup again. And then notice it is giving me the file name Central Tech Limited, but most importantly, 02/08/22 is the backup date. So I just click Save. I want it entered on my desktop. So I'm going to click Save. I'm going to create a folder, and I'm going to call it AIS Labs. So I am going to click in AIS Labs and save my data. So every time you finish a period of work, you have to back up your information. Okay? All right. So the information is now backed up. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you in this third video where you're going to be adding your vendors using Appendix 3. Okay, have a good day.